Hello, everyone. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this and make it a more less formal event, make it a little bit more cozy and homely, given the number of people in this room. But just to get started, it's really great to be here in Miami. It's my first time in Miami, actually. It's a great reprieve from the traditional winter that I suffer with in Oregon, which is dark, rainy, cold all the time. So this is a shot of sunlight, which is extremely helpful, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you to Decentral and Bianca for shouting out here. And yeah, I'm here and I'm running for Congress because crypto needs a defender. The people who are currently in Congress, who are currently writing our laws, are you beat me right to the punch. The people who are currently writing our laws do not really have an understanding of like the basic principles of, say, climate change, science and engineering, or in this case, Web3 and blockchain. And because of that, they're trying to like shove a square peg into a round hole, and it's causing all manner of problems. Like most recent example would be the 6050I provision. That's the provision in the tax code that was specifically called out various things that are basically crypto native people to do, which would make mining, running your own node, or pretty much most of the, like, even hosting your own wallet would be not something you could do anymore, would be criminalized. For example, if you're a fan of NFTs and you have one that's worth over $10,000, selling that to somebody else would essentially be a crime unless you knew their social security number, which is wild to think about. It completely cripples everything in our industry. So we really need, as a community, to get people together and get organized to defend this $1 trillion+ industry that we've built over the last 10 years. To give you some background on who I am, I worked with Yearn Finance. I've been involved in the crypto space since 2009. I did some early mining with Bitcoin after the first white paper. I got back into mining in 2013, was an advocate, an enthusiast for quite some time, but then in 2020 during DeFi summer, I got involved as a strategist with Yearn Finance to actually help get that yield for their vaults by writing different strategies and programs. And as of this year, I am now a congressional candidate. In order for our industry to protect itself and defend itself, we need to organize. We need champions, and I am here to be that champion for this community. I have been involved in this space since essentially the beginning. I know it from a miner standpoint, a developer standpoint, and an investor standpoint, and I am excited to be here to become our voice on the inside of government, basically, to have one of our own on the inside of the halls of Congress so that we don't need to lobby them from the outside. You'll have a guy on the inside. I really do believe that this community is extremely organized, is extremely passionate about this, and I'm really excited to see it right now start to become politically engaged. But we really need to focus that energy, and we need to vote, support, and primarily donate to candidate campaigns like mine in order to make sure that we get our message to Washington and we defend ourselves. It is an incredibly big honor to be here. I'm really excited. And basically, I am very pleased that this event is going on, that I can be here for today. Does anyone have any quick questions? I do. My Twitter handle is at MattDW, at MattDWest, rather. So that's the easiest way to find me on Twitter. That's a good point. I have a website, www.mattwestforcongress. If you go there, you can find all the information you want about me. I also forgot to mention that I have my PhD in chemical engineering, researching renewable energy. I have worked for 7 years as a manufacturing engineer at Intel to design the manufacturing process for their future microprocessor products. So this isn't just a crypto-focused campaign. It's a very real campaign. I've got an awesome team. I have a fantastic suite of consultants. But what I really need is the support of the community and the support of folks like you in order to make sure that Washington, as it is, hears our voice, pays attention to us, and they will actually start to pass rules and regulations based on actual science, on actual details that they don't know right now. Right now, historically, we are apolitical, and we historically don't vote, which means that people currently in power have almost no reason to pay attention to us, and I want us, during this election cycle, to change that. I want to prove that we can defend ourselves and that we are someone who they need to listen to. Yes?
Yeah, no, so it's great that you're here. Thank you again for showing. In the previous life, I was actually in politics myself, working in Tallahassee and Washington. Now and the communications of a DeFi protocol. I was wondering, I absolutely agree 100% with what we're doing, and is there going to be some sort of DeFi DAO or DeFi pack, maybe?
That's an excellent question. There is a current pack that's I adore. They're HODL pack. They're a great organization, so I would strongly encourage you to first donate to my campaign, but then you can also donate to HODL pack, and they are an organization that has my dearest support. Looks like I'm about to run out of time here, but thank you so much for your attention. I'll be wandering the halls, and I look forward to meeting you all and encouraging you to get active in politics. Thank you.
Before you go, please. Yes, no, we have the stage, we have a stage. Before you go, I would just like to ask, in summary, can you just give us an idea of if you know this right now, what kind of things are happening down the pipeline that your support and your candidacy could impact? Like what kind of things negatively may be heading down the pipeline and what your support could do to impact that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, the one that everyone's aware of is a 605OI provision, which is we need to overturn it absolutely. There are other provisions that are currently being proposed that do the similar sort of things of make miners and node maintainers need to know the social security numbers of who they're transmitting to, make sure that none of those transactions that they approve of or that they maintain are in any way illicit. So that is immediately will cripple any decentralized network because there's no way for a simple maintainer to do that. However, there's also some positive bills out there as well to do things such as ensure that node maintainers are not considered brokers or money transmitters. There's one that will give a safe harbor to tokens. So currently, there's like this nebulous gray area where no one really knows what to do in order to stay legal. This law would enable a safe harbor. So those people who do, in good faith, make a token and make a new protocol and release it to the wild would not be held accountable or would not be penalized for doing so if later on, when the regulations are actually finalized, that they would not be held accountable for regulations that did not exist at that moment, and then afterwards they can get back into how to actually go forward with it. So there are plenty of bipartisan pro-crypto politics right now. There's a lot of bipartisan bills, which I'm extremely excited about. That's another bit of my argument here, is that we cannot have crypto be a partisan issue. We need to have it on both left and right side so that during the tides of fate here, no matter who's in charge, whichever party wins in any given election cycle, we will have defenders on both sides. So I do not view this as a red versus blue issue. It should absolutely be bigger than that.
And then lastly, I would like to just bring it home and bring back awareness. You said that if you had a over $10,000 NFT, right?
Correct.
And you tried to sell that at this current time, am I correct in that understanding? At this current time, you would be penalized if you sold it to someone if you do not have their social security number.
That is the law that was just passed. It was signed, it currently exists. That particular bit is not in enforcement yet, but if we don't do anything to repeal it, that will become the law. So this is like the only time in history that if you had a piece of art that you wanted to sell to another human being, you'd need their social security number, their tax ID, all this really invasive information.
Weird.
Just because it's an NFT, just because it exists on the blockchain, why should it be treated any different? That's exactly why we need people like me and like the folks here who understand those differences to become politically engaged so that we can make sure that these regulations make sense, that they actually fit the industry and that we're not trying to backfill old regulations and old ideas into something that's completely brand new.
Thank you so much for that. And I just want to drive the point home. If you bought an NFT, and let's say you got some alpha on that NFT, because this is the alpha stage, so that's what's happening, and you bought an NFT for, chump change, and that NFT skyrockets to now worth over $100,000, which is it's not a novel concept in the NFT space. As it currently stands, the law says that if you sold that to someone, you have to gather their social security number. You have to gather invasive information about them. So just to bring it home, I think that it's really important what Matt is saying to get involved in this and to understand that we all have a voice and we can all come together and support the people who are trying to support us. Because if I'm gonna buy something for $100 and all of a sudden it's worth $100,000, I don't wanna know someone else's social security number to get my money, okay? I just want my money. So thank you so much for everything. And if you have nothing else to say, we really appreciate you. And thank you for being here at Decentral. And thank you for your alpha.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here.